Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to episode 11 of Crash Landing with Light. And today, we plant the seeds of revolution! Yeah, not really just these seeds. Metaphorical seeds for the Industrial Revolution. What we're going to make today is the printed circuit board. It's absolutely necessary for everything technological we want to do from here on out. And a lot needs to happen, so let's just get started. First things first, we need to make a deal with Impa. Boink. To get this blueprint for our PCB, we need to give him this stuff: compressed iron, etching acid, an emerald, and some plastic. Boink. And we give it to him. Now he gives us that. Now he took our etching acid, so we're going to need to make some more. So what we're going to do is go outside to our pressure chamber. Now that everybody has probably sufficiently burned up. Yeah. Now, we put on these interfaces. This is what I was trying to do when I was mercilessly attacked by that mounted archer. But what you do is you go to the output. Let's turn off NEI for a little bit. And tell it what it is that we want. So item name begins with etching, because we want an etching acid bucket. If you don't put this here, it'll take whatever you put in. You put in the green plastic, it takes out the green plastic. You put in the gunpowder, it takes out the gunpowder. It's just not a pretty picture. Over in this, we've got our various materials for making the etching acid bucket. And then all we need to do is turn on this pneumatic servo. I love these things. Whoa! Another gas. This one with a spider on it. Jeez. No rest for the wicked around here. Whew. Okay. And then all we do is we flip this lever. Let's check on the pressure. It's decent, but I think we're going to want some more. Whew. Okay, so we come down here, grab ourselves some coal. This is not the only pressurized thing we're going to be doing, so we'll grab a little extra just in case. Now you can see this is stuffed because it can only put so many things in so fast. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, every time the little door opens to push something in, you lose a bit of pressure. So you have to keep an eye on that. And then we've got 4 things in. All it has to do is chuck in the water bucket, and that should be good to go. Going once. Going twice. Sold. And then this door opens, chucks out the bucket, and we've got some more etching acid. Let's see. While we're here, let's grab a little more dust, because we're going to need to do a little bit with it, maybe. Because we need to put this etching acid down somewhere. And I'm thinking a nice safe place is up here. You're not going to jump in and fall into the acid by accident over here. So the next thing we're going to need is the actual card that we're going to want. So down here, we've got ourselves these 2 things. The green plastic and the compressed iron. It's weird that you'd make the circuit board out of iron, but don't ask questions with these sorts of things. Green plastic, compressed iron. Now, again, over here, we need to tell it what we want. This time we want an empty PCB. Empty is good enough. And then we throw the lever. It'll do its thing. While it's doing that, let's get the materials for the UV light box. That's what it's going to need after it's done becoming a circuit board. You need the thing to print on it with. So we've got our blueprint, which goes in the middle, right here. So we grab these, head over to our crafting table, and make ourselves a UV light box. Now this process is quite slow. There's going to be a automated process for this in the future. Might not be any faster, but we don't actually have to be involved in the process. This does need compressed air to work. So we'll jump up here and attach it to our system, like so. And now you can see it takes 1 bar of pressure. It's got 2. We should be done with this guy here. And that's the first thing that IMPA wants, an empty PCB. Manual detect, move on to step 2. Now it needs one that's written. Next up, toss the empty PCB into a UV light box. Then you simply have to wait. While you can pull the PCB out before it fully processes, there is a chance it will fail the last step, the etching. If you don't like the long wait, you may wish to install a few speed upgrades in the light box. Okay, so A1, A2. Actually, let's make some steps all the way down. And we come in here, put the PCB in. It will use some of the pressure, but we're still cooking. So that should be enough pressure for it to do what it needs to do. It counts up slowly to 100. While that's going, we might as well talk about what my plans are for the industrial zone. On the far side of the orchard, going to build some industry, going to have lots of automation. I very much want to make something similar to Viswee's Steve's Factory Manager auto sifter. It works very fast with just about any kind of sifting you need to do. Not only does it shove everything through the sieve, it also collects the items and throws them into a chest for you. So that's incredibly handy. You can also use it to automate just about anything else too. So if you had some autonomous activators over there, you could also use it to smash things. If you had some pulverizers, you could use that instead because they're faster, but they take electricity. So once we've got a power setup, we might do that. But in the end, what I really, really want to do, just because I think it would be fun, is to set up a restaurant over there. I know it's a little ridiculous to have a restaurant for just one person, but with the factory manager, you can use redstone signals to trigger it to do things. So I could set up a menu with item frames showing the different meals with a button underneath, such that when you press the button, it crafts the meal for you and then puts it on a table. The Bibliocraft tables have inventories, so anything that can modify inventories can put things onto or take things off of those tables. So I could have a central table where you push the button and the food is delivered automatically to that table. I may or may not automate all of the food collection process. I might still like coming through here because it is nice and peaceful, just coming through, picking a little bit of fruit now and then. A little bit of nutmeg here and there. Do we have enough room? Yeah, we got plenty of room. All these walnuts so we can candy them later. It's just really nice now and then to do something a little less stressful here. One thing you might not know is that these cinnamon trees, their trunk isn't really there. The cinnamon acts like a fruit, and just like all of these other fruits, you can walk right through it. Which is why it doesn't have a light like the other ones, because this isn't really there, and you harvest from the trunk. So getting rid of part of the trunk, not a particularly wise idea. So those are two of my plans for the industrial district. I love automation. I enjoy redstone. I do a bit of programming, so it'll be nice to do all those sorts of things. Wow, it still only made 34% progress. Let's see what else we can do. Let's come down here and talk to IMPA, because we've done this stuff so far. In basic survival, I did have a run-in with an Enderman. I did manage to kill him, so Night Fright is complete. We can grab one of these things. I'm going to go with the anvil. That way I don't need to waste tons of iron on it. And eventually I'll have a metal setup so I can make the weapons that I need. I don't necessarily want that sword blade right now. So let's throw the needle gun stuff in here. I don't have a particularly good place for the spare fruit because in here we're pretty solidly full. Yeah, let's just toss them down here for now. We could make some more juice, but we'll wait on that. Doesn't really have to happen this episode. I suppose while we wait for that, I can show you some of the other things that have been going on with the orchard and the mob trap. We're getting tons of drops down here. Let's try some of these in there. So we've got several more miniature red hearts and some ender pearls. We've got stacks and stacks of these things. Need to automate that at some point, but I'll get there. How are we doing up here? Still only at 50%. Oh, I didn't put the nutmeg away. I don't really have a good place to put it, so we might as well grind it up. So you grind the nutmeg, and then the ground nutmeg itself can be used in a couple of spicy things. Custard, spice buns. Oh, that's it? Expected nutmeg to be used in more things. So it goes. So we got a bit more of that. Still got these olives. If you haven't seen me make juice, you just take a juicer, put the apples in. Voila! Apple juice. I also made this saucepan because that was necessary for making the candied walnuts. Got this a set of shelves from Bibliocraft. These you can also manage with Steve's manager thing. You can just right click to put things on, right click to pull things off. Ooh. Making a racket out there, gentlemen. And how are we doing? Still only 63. If only there were a way to speed this up. Well, there is. The speed upgrades. Let's go somewhere safe and take a look at what those take. I have a feeling it's more than we have. We could have gotten some for one of the quests, but we decided against it. Let's see what this takes. So we need lapis, speed potions, and a cake for one speed upgrade. That's crazy. I'm sure I'll do it eventually, but still, that's crazy. Just absolute madness right there. Don't know what else to say about that. Man. Okay, so let's turn this back on because we are down a tiny bit on the cobblestone. It should just fly right in and be done. Come on. Poke. That's odd. There it goes. I showed you about these plants last time, so you should be clear on how those work. All I want you to do is be etchable. Come on. Huh. Takes a while. What gave me zombie jerky? Oh, right. Killing the Enderman. Might as well eat it anyway. No sense letting food go to waste. Now, in here, we're likely going to finish the end of the beginning today, because it involves the PCB, and we're going to be doing all that. Somehow, the backstory got opened up. I didn't think I went far enough to get this data tablet. I mean, that was 600 blocks away. I've definitely not walked 600 blocks away. Yeah, that's weird. Back in Under Pressure, we're working on this one right now. This one involves etching, getting an etching bucket, which I already got, etching the thing, and then installing the capacitors. That won't be a problem. The biggest wait is just on getting this thing done. So if you have any ideas for what I should do over in the industrial area, feel free to leave a comment. I love implementing any sort of idea, whether it's mine or not. But keep in mind, any serious machinery is going to take PCBs, and it might take a while to get enough for serious work in particularly thermal expansion or MFR. However, Steve's factory manager doesn't use PCBs. If you take a look, it takes redstone and iron. Pretty much across the board, it's redstone and iron, except for this weird one that takes lapis. But for the most part, oh, that one takes quartz. What takes quartz? Blocks detector. So yeah, most of it is iron and redstone, iron and redstone, iron and redstone, which we can get. There's dust everywhere. We've got the gravel generator. We can get iron and redstone. Are you done? So close. Be done. 100%. Okay. So it's at 100%. We come back here, manual detect. Good to go. It gives us the capacitor and the transistor and some more compressed iron. Good. Now, this one, we did the acid bucket. Now we need the unassembled PCB. Now this one takes a little bit. So what I'm going to do is drop it in the acid, and then we'll read through the backstory. Because it seems like as good a time as any to do it. So we come over here, drop it in the acid, and then we have story time. When I signed up with the DSS Wanderlust for a 2-year tour, exploring unknown space, I expected things to be like those old sci-fi shows. Weird planets, strange space anomalies, bizarre aliens, adventure and excitement every day. As it turns out, space exploration is boring. We speed weeks in long jump space, going from star to star, which is boring. Then, once in a new solar system, we spend a month going from planet to planet, taking readings and making scans, which means staring at display screens for hours on end. Tedious as well as boring. Oh, and since I'm the only ensign on this ship, and therefore the lowest ranked officer, I get stuck doing all the crap jobs no one else wants. Spent more time in a cramped, awkward, hot, smelly hazard suit doing maintenance in the reactor room than any one person should ever be expected to. Here we go again. Another star system. Might be a little different this time, though. One of the planets appears to have a breathable atmosphere, though we aren't picking up any water or anything organic. Captain says we have to land the shuttle to take a closer look. Might see if I can get on that mission. Has to be more exciting than staring at display screens all day. Then again, spending several hours on a hot, dry, lifeless dust ball of a planet doesn't sound much better. Take a little hiatus. Grab ourselves this thing. See how it's doing. 74%. It'll be done before we know it. Part 3. Crap! Think I'm the only one left. Finally got my excitement and adventure. I don't want it. Also, I take back every negative thing I said about that hazard suit. Just saved my life, thanks to it being a closed air system. Wanderlust had just settled into orbit of the planet. I was stuck in engineering, cleaning the reactor crawlways. Again. Just as I was about to wrap up, there was a terrific bang, and I was flung hard into a bulkhead. I was knocked out. When I came to, my hazard suit showed I was in a hard vacuum. Made my way out to the crawlways and the engineering display boards. Ship diagnostics showed a major hull breach somewhere around the bridge, which led to complete venting of the ship's atmosphere. Outside of me, I see no life signs anywhere on board. 50 crew, dead in minutes. Damn. Now I have to figure out what to do so I don't join them. Things have gone from bad to worse. To call what happened a hull breach would be a gross understatement. Still have no idea what we hit. There's a 5-meter diameter hole torn through the bridge and then halfway through the ship. All primary controls are literally gone. The ship's computer is offline, secondary controls and the backup computer and engineering are mostly working, but it doesn't matter. Structural damage means that using the in-system drive would tear the Wanderlust to pieces. She's too close to the planet to use the long jump drive. Communications are out. I set an emergency beacon. That could take months or years before help arrives. I don't have it. The Wanderlust's orbit is decaying and the attitude controls won't respond. In a week, maybe less, she'll enter the atmosphere and burn up. I've loaded what survival gear I could into the shuttle. I'll be taking my chances on the planet below. Just hope the shuttle hasn't been damaged. And we all see how well that worked out. Okay, so we've got ourselves an unassembled PCB. See? Unassembled. So we come back in here, under pressure. So we've got that. The last step is to put things on it. You will need transistors and capacitors for this step, 3 of each. Recipes are in NEI. Then it is a simple matter of combining those with the unassembled PCB, and you are done. Don't worry, there's a better way to do this that will be covered later. Okey-doke. Ooh, I'm out of water. Love me those 4 camel packs. They make things so much easier. So we take our unassembled PCB, we take our blue things and our black things, and voila! Printed circuit board. Which gives us another one and some plastic sheets. Which means if we come back to basic survival, we can now do the end of the beginning. We get some dust, redstone, rubber trees, or slime plants. Got tons of rubber trees, as you can see from all the conveyor belts. Redstone, we can get that without too much trouble. Slime plants require cocoa beans, which comes from sifting sand, which I don't really do yet, so I'll take those. And I've got a secret plan for what I want to do with those. Okay, so that opened up a couple of things. We've got getting chilly, power underwhelming, still need to do these. We'll get on that. Opened up technological revolution, which goes through, we've got MFR over here. All sorts of fancy things you can do. A lot of them are too magical for me. Tiny little block that can influence way too much space around it, or a machine that you can grind down one type of monster and turn it into some other type of monster. I'll only use these once life is way too good already, because they can do really fancy things, not necessarily going to do right off the bat. Over here we've got thermal expansion, nice normal machines doing nice normal things. You got the pulverizer, which break things up. The glacial precipitator's a little weird, but you still need to supply it with water, so it's basically a fancy air conditioner. Over here you've got applied energistics. Love applied energistics. Great storage mod, does a lot of interesting things with that, but it can also do the automation of crafting, and I've done a few things with it where you make secret passages. So it's kind of fun. I think Steve's Factory Manager will still end up being a little better, but this will be the Industrial Revolution right here. We'll start that in the next episode. Between them, I will do a little bit of grinding so we've got all the resources we need. I will probably start working on the Industrial Revolution type stuff before pushing further in, too much further into Metacraft. Some of these will be handy, like assembling the circuit boards with this stuff, but I'm not sure that's a job for next episode or not. We'll see how that goes. In basic survival, we've got a generator and some snow. Let's save those for another day, because I doubt they're really what we want to be doing right now. Particularly since we're out of time. I love automation. I'm probably going to go with the automation. But in the meantime, I'm going to do some grinding. Hopefully you've got something good planned. And I will see you in the next episode of Crash Landing with Light.